General Manor wasn't ready for what was coming. Take a look.
You think you're smarter than the American people, don't you?
Absolutely not, Senator.
You think you're more virtuous than the American people, don't you, General?
Senator, I am insulted by your comment.
During a Senate hearing, Kennedy read the general's past statements word for word, exposing clear bias and shutting down the theatrics. He then turned to the second witness and highlighted the mindset driving open border policies on the left. Watch this.
Yes,
you
Senator.
believe in open borders, don't you?
I believe in the rule of law, sir.
Right. And it makes you angry that President Trump does not believe in open borders, doesn't it?
Senator, I'm not here to discuss immigration policy. I'm here to discuss whether or not we use the military to enforce it.
On October 14th of this year, you went on CNN. Here's what you said. President Trump is not like any sane leader. I'm very proud of General Milley for saying that President Trump is a total fascist. To Bob Woodward, if he, as chairman of the Joint Chiefs, is calling the president a fascist, I'm so proud of him for breaking that barrier. The challenge is because most MAGA Republicans, they don't understand what fascism is. The reality is that they are, in fact, fascists themselves.
Now, for some context, the witness is a retired National Guard Major General who became a political commentator after leaving service, mainly appearing on networks like CNN and MSNBC. His main criticism of the president centers on the use of the National Guard, which he described as, quote, very disturbing since a reasonable president has never done this. I guess that includes Obama as well, since he deployed guardsmen to deal with the riots in Baltimore. The general also loves to frequently insult half the country, calling them fascists, but he was never confronted about it until this hearing. So let's hear how he reacted to Kennedy calling him out.
Did I read that accurately?
Senator, I am happy to discuss my personal perspectives with you separately at any time. That's not the purpose of the hearing today.
Did I read that accurately?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. You think you're smarter than the American people, don't you?
Absolutely not, Senator. I am here to discuss the use of the military as part of this mass deportation.
You think you're more virtuous than the American people, don't you, General?
Senator, I am insulted by your comment.
Ms. Moran said, I wrote down her words. She said, by their actions, you know what someone's character is like. You agree with that?
Senator, for 35 years, I served my country with absolute honor and distinction, and I will continue to do so.
You agree with what Ms. Moran said?
Of course.
Well, if he has such a thin skin and can't handle being called out on past comments, why would he go on national television and call half the country fascist in the first place? And once he was confronted, he immediately tried to fall back on his service, as if that somehow excuses or cancels out his initial comments. Don't get me wrong, I have all the respect for his time in uniform. But that doesn't give anyone a pass to make sweeping claims about millions of people over political disagreements. And believe it or not, his comments were somewhat mild compared to what the second witness posted on Twitter. Senator Kennedy made sure to point that out as well. But before we play that, we have a quick message from today's sponsor. America just made a $2.7 billion move, and it's all about uranium. Now, on January 5th, 2026, the U.S. Department of Energy allocated $2.7 billion to restore domestic uranium enrichment. It's a clear declaration of intent. Right now, the U.S. consumes more than 50 million pounds of uranium each year, but produces less than 1 million at home. Meanwhile, Russia controls a large share of global enrichment capacity, and Greenland has banned uranium mining altogether. Washington's message is direct. Energy security is national security, and the supply chain must come home. This is where Atomic Minerals enters the picture. trading under Atom on the TSX Venture and OTC under ATMMF, is a team with real history. Members of leadership were involved in the discovery and subsequent $654 million sale of the Rough Rider deposit to Rio Tinto. The question is simple. Can they repeat that success? Atomic controls 4 fully owned projects in the Colorado Plateau, a region that has produced over 597 million pounds of uranium. Now, their flagship, South Lisbon Valley East in Utah, sits inside a district that has already delivered 80 million pounds. The geology works, and Atomic Minerals is strategically positioned to capitalize on the shift in D.C. I'll leave you with this. This leadership team once delivered a $654 million exit. Today, the valuation is a fraction of that, while uranium prices push towards triple digits. So, if you want the full story, check it out in the link in the description. Special thanks to Atomic Minerals for making today's video possible.
Mr. Melnick, Mr. Reichlin Melnick, you believe in open borders too, don't you?
I do not, Mr. Kennedy.
Okay. On November 1st, 2022, you tweeted, "Both Texas and Louisiana have their knives out for black immigrants." Do you remember that tweet?
I don't, but it's quite possible.
What Texans, it's not only possible, it happened. You're not denying it, are you?
No, I'm saying, referring
What
to the
Texans?
context.
Who are
I
you
actually
talking
don't
to?
know the
Who
context.
are you talking to about who in Texas had their knives out for black immigrants?
Guessing the context, but my suspicion is
Give
that
me
it
a
has to
name.
do the
Give me a
Attorney
name.
General Ken Paxton and
Give
the
me a
Attorney
name.
General of
Give me a name.
Louisiana. I just did.
You don't have a name, do you?
I just said Ken Paxton.
Mr. Melnick is actually a senior fellow at the American Immigration Council, a group that presents itself as nonpartisan but consistently pushes for every progressive immigration policy out there. So it's no wonder he was trying to walk back his words. The thing is, he posted that tweet during the height of President Biden's open borders era, and Texas was getting overwhelmed. So they started transporting illegal immigrants to sanctuary cities, which made Democrats realize the huge strain on public resources this creates. But Senator Kennedy kept the pressure on, trying to see what Melnick meant with this tweet. And it was so brutal that Dick Durbin tried to step in before it turned into a full-blown embarrassment.
All right, how about Louisiana? You said Louisiana has its knives out for black immigrants. Who in Louisiana were you talking about?
Again, I'm not certain. That was 2 years ago, and as I'm sure you know, much has happened in the last 2 years.
Well, did you say it?
Again, I do not remember the context,
But you don't.
Senator
You
Kennedy.
said somebody had their knives out from Louisiana for black immigrants, but you don't know who they were? You just said it?
I said the Attorney General of Louisiana and Texas, and I believe this referred to specifically lawsuits brought and arguments that were made in court that the arrival of Haitians
I'm out
and
of time,
others
but I
were
want to get you
inherently
on the
dangerous,
record.
which was
You
not.
Thank you very much, Senator.
believe
Appreciate
that the
your
Attorney
questions.
General at that time of Louisiana had his knives out for black immigrants. That's your testimony.
Given their
Thank you,
litigation
Senator Kennedy.
conduct, yes.
Now, there are better ways to describe ongoing litigation than saying someone has, quote, their knives out. But that's the modern day left for you. They like to exaggerate things and use big words, which goes to show not all of them are in it for an honest discussion. Now, to be fair, this is not limited to one side. Some voices on the right fall into the same habit. The bottom line here is simple. When everything is framed in dramatic terms, it becomes harder to focus on actual solutions. It might help grab attention or get some votes, but over time, it only deepens division. If anything, it makes problems harder to solve instead of bringing people closer to get real answers. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this story. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, keep thinking.